we sponsor the Inns of Court memberships. That can be very costly. £150, 100 to 130 is this year memberships, and next year is going to increase as well. So if you register for the Inns of Court memberships, you got to pay for the memberships, and that memberships is sponsored by PDVL. So if you're applying through PDVL, that fee will be covered by PDVL. But instead, if you're applying by yourself, that you got to pay and without any waiver. And if you want to enjoy the waiver, we will see the eligibility that you attend this web waiver or not. If you attend these sessions and also submit all the documents to us for the application, submit documents or all documents to us by 30th of September, then you will be entitled for this waiver. And this is the timeline that we would like to propose to students if you are applying for the January intakes. So from now on until September, the application will open for the January intakes. And if you like to apply for the January intake, we will start to guide you for the application. So what kind of documents you need, and is there anything that you need to prepare or submit, run some forms, and you want to apply for scholarships, we'll guide you through. And coming to September and October, that would be also the critical time you must submit your Inns of Court memberships if you haven't done so, because there is a strict deadline that all students will need to submit the memberships application 12 weeks before of the course start date. And if you already received the offer of place from the bar school, you need to quickly submit the acceptance and also arrange for the deposits to the bar school to secure a place. After that, you need to start arranging for the accommodation. And if you need for the English, then you got to prepare and register to sit for that. Coming in November and December, that would be the visa preparation stage. So that time you need to take the TB lung screening test in the approved clinic. That is part of the document you need for the visa application. And if you haven't got your final results from the university, that would be a deadline that you need to comply with to submit the final documents in order to get the CAS. CAS is the essential and very important document from the university to apply for the visa. So that also some things that you need to work on that as well, like booking for the flights and do submit for the visa application and so on. So the January first week will be your course start date if you're starting in January. Again, if you want to join the January intake, you attend for 2 day sessions. Do come to us to enjoy this waiver, but you need to submit documents to us by the 30th of September. And this is the CAS deadline published by Bar School. For University of Law and BPP, both of them will have the start dates on the first week of January. And the induction is the course registration date. So happening somewhere December, end of December, or the first week of January. And the CAS deadline is a very important deadline for international students that you need to know that when is the last date. I will need to have the unconditional offer and also already arrange for the CAS deposit. CAS deposit is the deposit payment that you need to make to the bar school in order to get the CAS. So if you not submitting the final documents and not paying the deposit after the deadline, that means that they cannot accept you as the student for the January intake, and you need to wait until the later intake, for example, September. Our service been for many years already. So we providing the bar application services to students and receiving 5 stars review from parents and students. So these are some reviews by our students before that you can check on the Google and Facebook, and even parents that left the reviews to us. And we are recommended by Bar School as well to provide the service to students. So you can be sure that you will receive a professionals and very good service for you yourself for your bar application. So that's all for our part. So you have a very good understanding about who we are, what is the bar programs, and how to apply, what you need to prepare if you want to apply for the bar program, and what we can offer to you. So the next, I would like to invite Miss Maggie from BPP University to have the sessions.
Thank you, MT, and thank you to all PDVL teams members that organizing today's event. And thanks to all the students that you spend your time together with us this afternoon. Without wasting any time, let me just share my screen and okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, let me just make it okay. Sure. So welcome to BPP's University Law School's barrister training courses webinars today. And let me just introduce you about today's webinar, where I will do some introduction and why you should choose our bar course and why you should choose BPP, and some Q&A session if you have for me. All right. So this is about BPP University. BPP University, we actually have a global education provider where we have more than 40 years of program, and our law school has been like running for about 30 years, and each year we actually train more students for the English bar than any other bar providers, because we managed to secure like the apprenticeships itself, and we exclusively train like the future trainees of 4 out of the top 5 magic circle. The magic circle is actually the top law firm in the UK, and we successfully tender like from 4 of them in order for their apprenticeship students to be trained by us. All right, so these are our law school's exclusive client, like Allen and Overy, Baker McKenzie, Freshfield, Herberts, and these are the other like maybe second and third tier partners as well. All right, and we also have like other fourth, fifth tier of the law program. Sorry, the law clients in BPP. We work very closely with them, and our students will have the opportunity like to meet them and to speak to them as well. Oops, sorry. And for you to study the bar course, we actually have like the locations like London, Manchester, Leeds, Birmingham, and Bristol. So for the law school in the city center, we normally I will recommend students like maybe perhaps you can choose our BPP London Center, which is located at the London Holborn, which we normally call it Red Lion District, where all the law firms, all the top law firms are on the same street. So for BPP London Central, right, is actually a walking distance to 4 Inns of Court. It is very close to the High Court and also the Old Bailey. It's a very short walking distance to the Oxford Street, and it is well served by the public transport, meaning that if you are staying nearby, or you can leave like maybe perhaps like 15 minutes from the train station, then you can actually arrive in BPP right with the maybe perhaps the bus or the train. Yeah. And next, I will suggest students like maybe perhaps you can choose Manchester. And what is good about Manchester is it's located in the heart of the central Manchester. And just for your information, in BPP, all the locations for like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, and also Bristol, we are right in the middle city center. It is not like maybe 30 or 40 minutes from that particular center. So normally it is right in the middle city center, and this location is actually located at the historic St. James building. I think when you start this session, I think Mei Ling actually played like a video. So that video is actually for showing this St. James building. and it's only 5 minutes from the main shopping center. This location is also well served by the public transport. So our other city center location will be Bristol, Birmingham, and Leeds. Okay. So what is the barrister training course that we offer in BPP? Let me just start the normal barrister course where we consist of pupil H1 and pupil H2. All right. So what is this pupil H1 where what you'll be doing and what you'll be studying is where actually we integrate like the knowledge and also the skills together. We put the civil litigation and evidence, which is the knowledge part, and we include drafting and submission and advocacy, oral and written, which is the skill part together. Some bar providers, they are actually separate it, where maybe perhaps they do it in the term 1 and the rest skill, they will do it in the term 2. Or vice versa. But in terms of BPP, we actually combine like the knowledge and the skills together in order for the students will be able to do better in assessing or reviewing the case. Because when you are in our advocacy class, mainly all the cases that you'll be discussing will be a real based on the real cases. So what we normally do is we let the students to have the knowledge and also the skills. And once we combine it, the students will be able to do or to present the skills in a better way. And when you go into your pupil H2, we actually put the knowledge part will be criminal litigation, evidence and sentencing, and the skills part will be conferencing, examination in chief and cross-examination, legal research and opinion writing. And the most important thing is in our preparing for pupil H2, which is our SEM2, we allow the students to choose common law or commercial law. So the students will be able to do during the legal research and also the opinion writing. All right. So this is our main barrister training course where we will start with the preparing for pupil H1, which is the semester 1. We will actually cover the civil litigation and evidence, submission, advocacy, and drafting. So what I want to focus here is we will actually separate the civil litigation, the main BSB module. There are actually 2 BSB module, which is the other one will be in the preparing for pupil H2, which is the semester 2, criminal litigation, evidence, and sentencing. In BPP, we actually separate into 2 semesters where one you will do it in SEM 1 and the other one you will do it in the SEM 2. So that the students will not be need to focus like 2 BSB because these BSB modules, right, is actually an external paper. So therefore, we actually separate them and students will be able to focus one at a time. Yeah. So once you have completed like SEM 1 and SEM 2, then you will go for your BSB centralized exam and also your BPP assessment. Then for this duration of the course, right, is actually 9 months. And there will be some students might interested in the LLM version where you can actually top up with a project. What we normally do is this project you will actually need to discuss with your superior where you come to an agreed title or any projects that you think you are interested or keen to write, and once both has agreed on this title, you can actually start writing. So what you normally do is you complete your bar first, and then the last 3 months you will do your project. So for example, I have one student that have done like previously. She actually interested in surrogacy pregnancy. So she actually discussed this with the tutor, and the tutor agrees that she can write this, and she actually come up with a project or a title on this surrogate pregnancy. So these are some of the titles that if you are keen, you can actually talk to your tutor in order to write this project. All right. So if you're interested or keen to do the LLM part, then it will be a full 12 months program where you have to top up an additional of 3 months after that. All right. So once you have completed the project, then you can call to the bar in the UK. And if you are keen to come back to do your pupillage, you can always do so. So you just have to complete your chambering here for 9 months, and you can actually call to the Malaysia bar. So the minimum entry requirement for this course is actually 2:1, okay? And if let's say you have this, you meet this minimum requirement, you can actually choose either BTC or the BTC Master, which is the LLM version. And BPP, we actually have another version of the bar course, which is what we call BTC with Professional Legal Studies. this is actually for those who are keen to have a preparation before they actually start their bar course. So what we focus on the semester one is we actually include one fundamental of litigation and skills, where we cover dispute resolution, criminal law and practice, and foundation of legal skills. Although there are 3 modules here, only 2 modules are having internal assessment, where we have like dispute resolution and criminal law and practice. For these 2 modules, right, you actually have to sit for 2 hours for each internal MCQ assessment only. And this actually carries some marks in order for you to pass or fail your barrister training course. So it is, I would say that for those who prefer an additional knowledge before you actually start your bar program, you can actually consider this BTC PLS, all right? So then they will go for BPP assessment, and you will continue with the normal bar, like what I discussed with you earlier. All right. And for this version, there will be actually a master program as well. But unfortunately, you have to start together with the fundamental of legal skills. If you see the light purple arrow there, it is a full 12 months before you actually complete the project. But when you go for the dark purple one, you will also see a full 12 months. There is no, not any error. So it will be a full 12 months because this project you will actually begin together with the fundamental of litigation and skills. So if you are keen to do the master together with the professional legal studies, you can actually choose this PLS version. All right. So these are the admission criteria. You need to have 7 from. Oh, hi, Lisha. Okay.
Sorry,
no problem. So you need to have like academic component where you need to fulfill all the QLD modules. So some of the students, I think, if you are not yet go to your 3rd year, please and remember to take all the 7 foundation of legal knowledge, okay? So that you don't miss out any of the module, and you do not need to pay extra in order for you to be eligible into the bar course. Because if you have any missing module, you are required to do that module first, then only you are eligible to go into apply into the bar course. All right. So the BTC minimum requirement is 2-1, and the BTC PLS is 2-2. And what MT mentioned earlier, Mei Ling mentioned earlier, you need to register with the members of Inns of Court, and you have to have your proficiency in English language. Okay, so let me just like quickly go through with you. As for this English language, right, for BPP, you can actually go for our internal test. You just need to sit for our speaking and listening test. And like what MT mentioned, if you graduated in the UK, you are eligible for the waiver. All right. So next, joining and ins, I think Mei Ling go through with you. So what I want to tell you is these are the 4 ins that you can choose. You can choose any of the ins that you feel comfortable with, and you can only join 1 in at the time. So you just choose whatever ins that you prefer, and try to apply as early as possible, because they may need some time to process your application. So if you have not, you can put in now. If you have already, then just ask them for the membership registration card or the letter to confirm that you are their members. All right. So we actually have we do not have any interviews, but we need you to put in this BTC application. It is like a personal statement where you submitted when you apply to your final year in the UK. So you just need to write all these 5 questions in the documents that maybe perhaps MT sent or PDVL sent to you, and you just need to answer accordingly. So our admission will read through before we actually offer you the offer, right? So it is very simple, like which program are you applying for? What are your primary reason that you're wishing to qualify as a barrister? What are the key 3 key personal strengths? So you can actually submit everything to PDVL, and PDVL will actually go through with you first. And if there is any error or what, then they will be able to share with you to ask you to change or things like that. All right. So We actually offer like supports for international students. When you arrive in the UK, you do not need to worry because we actually have like a dedicated team to support all the international students. There will be an international desk for all the location. So if you have any issues, you can actually meet with them and you speak to them. And we actually have like a personal tutor or professional qualified lawyers in order to guide you throughout the entire course. So I would say that our students will be given like a one-to-one personal tutor. And if you have any issues, you can actually email them or speak to them. They will be able to assist you. So we also have like in-center student advice service where if you have any issues or if you are interested to know more about our upcoming events or any partners, clients that are coming, they can actually do that for you as well. And if you have any issues with your visa and things like that, they will be also be able to assist you. So like what I mentioned earlier, you have like access to all the subjects tutor. It will be one-to-one and you will have their emails. So if you have any issues in regards of your courses that you cannot follow, or you have missed out your classes and you need some help, you can actually speak to them and you will have their personal email and you can actually email them. And what I've heard from students, they actually reply you like very like a very quick reply. And next, why you should choose BPP for your bar course is actually we separate all the centralized exam. Like what I mentioned earlier, we put it civil litigation in semester 1 and criminal would be in semester 2, so that you only focus one at a time. And we also integrate the knowledge and the skills together, where some bar providers they actually separate it the knowledge and the skills part. All right. And BPP actually, we promise the student like we will have small groups for advocacy and also conference. Maximum will be 5. And some of the students, they manage to get it into like group of 4. Yeah. And the skills are taught both taught in common law or commercial law, like what I mentioned where I go through with you earlier. In your semester 2, the skills you can actually choose like either both common law or commercial law, but it doesn't matter whatever law that you choose, because it doesn't affect any of your bar program later on or your whatever decision. All right. So other than that, we also have like a flexible pathway to suit different students. If you have 2-1, you can actually consider the BTC. And if you have 2-2, you can also go for the BTC PLS. For this is not only for the 2-2 students, but I have many first class students also consider of this PLS as well, because they feel that the fundamental are actually helping them. And we actually heard from many of the students where this PLS is really helping the students. And all our case studies are based on the real cases. And we also have like award-winning pro bono center. Our students can actually apply to work voluntary in this pro bono center. And if you are keen, you can actually apply to them. And once you manage to go through the interviews, then you are, you are eligible to be part of the pro bono team. I have many students, they actually gain like real working experience and also legal skills during they are in this pro bono center. And lastly, we also have like 1.25 million bar specific scholarship from the law school. So what you can do is for this, we have BTC advocacy scholarship. You can actually, it's actually worth £2,000. And if you win for this, or if you have been honored this, you can have the exclusive opportunity to represent BPP at the prestigious external mooting competition. And this mooting competition are all covered, the expenses are all covered by BPP. So you can also have the opportunity like to join the BPP Advocacy and Mooting Society Committee. And how do you submit this BTC Advocacy Scholarship is you need to do a video, like a less than 5 minutes video, and we will give you a real case and you just have to mitigate it. So once you have submitted to us, then we will let you know if you have been honored this BTC Advocacy Scholarship. Other than that, not everybody is good in video, or you can actually go for this BTC Career Commitment Scholarship. It is also worth £2,000 to full scholarship. And we are looking for a combination of the following, like if you are very strong academic, strong career development focus, or you even have done some volunteering or pro bono work before, or you have maybe perhaps like a leadership profile and things like that. So you can actually apply for this career commitment scholarship. And please check our deadline on our BPP website because the January one is yet to open yet. All right. So the modes of studies, the September one is almost over, and the upcoming one would be for BTC. We are offering in London only, and for BTC PLS, we are opening to London, Birmingham, and Manchester. All right. So that's all from my side. And I think we will pass to Lisha, one of our alumni, our best alumni from PDVL.
Thank you,
So,
Maggie, for
yeah, sure.
very informative and insightful sections. And
Yeah.
I'm going to share screens, and Maggie.
Yep, I'll stop sharing.
Okay. As mentioned, we have a very huge network of students. They studying for bar, already completed bar, and today is our very honored and also have this opportunity to invite some of our students. They currently studying bar or completed. So I would like to invite Lisha. She did the degrees in the UK, graduated from the University of Essex, and then move on to study the bar programs at BPP Manchester. And her intake is in January. So she will be sharing on her experience with BPP. So if you have any questions, then you can you can ask any questions to her, and she's very helpful and can share a lot of very insightful information and as her experience. Lisha, you here?
Yes, MT, I'm here.
Right. Ken? Okay. Do you want to do self-introductions, and then you can take your part to share the experience?
I turn on my video.
Yes.
Okay. Can see, my face can see,
Can.
Okay, so good evening to all the students, and also thank you for PDVL for giving me this great opportunity for me to speak up about this. So I'm from BPP Manchester. I'm a BPP alumni. So every BPP we go to is just the same lah, except London in terms of their fees structure and etc. But sharing my bar course experience, before I would like to dive into that, I would like to say that you need to have at least 2-1 or 2-2 to do the bar. So if by now you're already in the Zoom, means you have the intention to pursue your bar course. So to know well about the bar course, like how Ms. Maggie and MT has already mentioned about the subjects and also the other training professional skills they offer, BPP is one of the best university, I would say, in terms of how they would like to, structure their program. In terms of how they structure, and timetabling is very good, I would say, compared to, I don't know about other universities, but for BPP, they are very good in terms of timetabling. So as a person who got 2-1 in my law degree, I didn't manage to get first class, but 2-1 in my law degree, I struggled. To be honest, I struggled during the bar course, but BPP helped me a lot in terms of how it sharpened my skills and shaped me into a better person. So let me give you the summary of the subjects. So like how Miss Maggie presented the screen, there are 2 centralized papers, which is civil litigation and criminal litigation. But when it comes to the internal papers, it is going to be advocacy, which is the civil advocacy, where you will call it submission advocacy. But for the criminal part, it is oral skills. We call it as cross-examination and examination in chief. On top of that, you have subjective papers such as drafting and opinion writing and legal research. And together with that, you also have, flowing down to that, you also have professional ethics and wait, professional ethics. Yeah, you only have professional ethics. Did I miss out any subjects? No, right? So yeah, you have professional ethics. So these are the subjects I took. Okay, you can't choose your subjects. Basically, they would give. So the most toughest subjects is going to be brutally honest, is the litigation papers. It is very tough because the others are marked internally by BPP, and the passing rate is 60%. This is the bar course. But I also, PDVL really encouraged me. I think PDVL saved me most of the time, and also BPP, because I took the PLS course, the professional legal studies. So in professional legal studies, I took dispute resolution and criminal law and practice. Okay. How these two subjects work is the passing mark is 50%, but the paper would, how to say, they would train you before you go into litigation papers, which means, okay, right now, in order for you to, okay, example, like the work career example, in order to be a lawyer, you need to do the case papers and etc., right? So you have to do internship. Sometimes people will recommend you to do legal intern, right? So that is, you're not going to do your internship. This is just a metaphor, but you'll be learning what is going to be in the litigation papers. So when you go to your term 2, which is the civil term, and term 3 will be the criminal term. That's how the BTC course is divided. So there is BTC, BTC PLS, and BTC PLS Masters and BTC Masters. So if you take the BTC course, it's 9 months. That one, everything except the dispute resolution and criminal law and practice. But I took BTC PLS. So how it worked was I had term 1, term 2, and term 3. So in term 1, they would enhance your knowledge because I went without knowing anything. Degree is totally different from how the bar course you're doing is totally different. In degree, you might take like EU law, you may take criminal law, tort law, but litigation papers, the civil litigation and criminal litigation is totally different. Okay, you're not going to learn anything. It's just mostly rules, like how a normal practitioner would do the things. So in the dispute resolution and criminal law practice, how I'm going to give you the framework. Okay, the framework, how it works is, they would give you like topics by topics, whatever that you're going to learn in the civil litigation term, they would train you in the term 1 itself. But the passing mark is 50, right? But the passing mark for the BPP internal paper is 50% for this PLS term only. The others all 60% already. So how they would structure their question is, they have 45 MCQ questions. For your exam, you will have, for your dispute resolution and criminal law and practice, 45 MCQ questions, and your passing mark is 50%. And they will train you like whatever you need to know, which means if you were to go to your term 2 and term 3, you wouldn't be stuck. You won't be stuck. You'll be like, okay, I learned this in dispute resolution. So this is case management. Okay, this is this ADR. This is that ADR. You will know how to differentiate. That is the plus point of the PLS subjects. That is a really good plus point. I think it's worth spending and adding that into your course itself. And when it comes to the term 2 and term 3, like I told you, I've mentioned the subjects earlier. How it works is the civil litigation and criminal litigation paper. Civil, it encompasses of 90 multiple choice questions. For criminal, it's 75. So in that 90, you'll be divided into 2, paper 1 and paper 2. Okay. Paper 1, you'll have 50 questions, and paper 2, you will have 40 questions. So you need to at least get 55 out of 90 to get a passing mark. And it's very tough because it is a centralized paper, like I told. But for criminal litigation, it is 75 questions, 3 hours. The structure is going to be very long. I have to be honest to you. The exam paper is going to be very long. It's going to be like, quite tiring and everything, but it's doable. The bar course is doable. But I recommend if you are taking the BTC, the PLS would be a very good point, but it's up to you If you can work, if you can study in a fast-paced environment, it's up to you. But if you are a little bit like, I'm an average student, to be very honest. So I had to take the PLS, and I did most of my time in the reading and everything. Yeah. Coming to, I didn't take masters, just a disclaimer. So PLS subject, right? No, not PLS subject, sorry. The bar course, right? It trains you to become a real lawyer, a barrister. This is the barrister training course. So definitely you will become a lawyer with that intention only. You took this course, right? Or you're going to take this course. So it will train you in terms of my advocacy skills, let me mention about my advocacy skills. I used to be an introvert, but BPP, they give you training, which means they have something called as BPP Advocacy Club. I joined their club. And in that club, we would meet, sometimes it's online, sometimes it's offline, like maybe the networking sessions would be offline, but sometimes it's online when it comes to like your personal tutors. You will be divided in Zoom, like how right now we are in. You will be divided in breakout rooms, and you will be guided thoroughly on how to aim a distinction, how to achieve your goals, how to put your case, how to structure your skeleton. For civil, you have to do a skeleton argument. For criminal, you don't need to submit anything. It's just a case theory you need to submit, but you don't need to submit your question. So they would train you, head to toe, they would train you. That was all about advocacy. But advocacy is my forte because that really pushed my grades high up. In the end, I got a very good overall grade because advocacy pushed me really high up. But when it comes to drafting, for me, I had the best tutor. In BPP, you will have best tutors drafting. One good thing about BPP is when it comes to their personal tutor, you can email them, or if you're having classes, you can show them your work and they will tell you where are you going wrong and how to improvise your structure in drafting or / opinion, which you will be handling it in term 3, how to structure and how to, get more points. Like, make sure it's not a fatal flaw or anything. I will touch on 2 fatal flaw in my upcoming session, but it's like they would say like, okay, this is how you should draft, because we have never drafted. We don't know what is drafting. So they would give a lot of samples. One thing about BPP, they will give a lot of samples and they will give a lot of exercises, which you can find in the BPP hub. Once you're a registered student, once you're in the BPP already registered, you will have a hub, you will have your own portal, you'll have your username and password. You can download that and print it and include it in your leverage file. And when it comes to your examination, it will be easy for you to navigate in terms of, okay, this is the question. This is the area of law which is going to come out. So you can look at the sample, and as per what you have discussed with your lecturer, which is your weak points and everything, you can work thoroughly on it. That's one good thing about BPP in terms of opinion and drafting. Professional ethics, it will be the last exam usually, and that is 30 MCQs. It is doable. You can use your general knowledge, but BPP will provide also in their hub around 5 workshops. You have to, just continue reading about the core duties and etc. and you will work your way on it. And more on top of that is classes attendance. Okay. I had a lot of friends. Okay, to be very honest, even me. Sometimes when you don't go to classes, BPP is very understanding. Sometimes you can just, now they are strict lah, but that point of time, you can just email your personal tutor and just say like, if it was for me, I would like, dear sir or madam, or to whom it may concern, I am, I couldn't make it to class and everything. Just inform them, because attendance is a very, very important thing, because it will affect your visa. So there's no way you can skip classes. There's no way you can skip classes, and you need to go for your classes, because if it's internal paper, this is a hack in BPP, I would say. You need to attend all the classes, because in one of your tutorial, that is going to be your exam questions. This is for the internal paper only, yeah. So you have to attend the classes. Make sure your attendance is good, 80% and above. Don't skip classes. Try your best. If they were to ask you to go back home and do the workshop, please do, because it will help. And BPP also, you will have in the hub itself already. We call it Century. If you go to your Century, you will have a lot of MCQs. You don't need to worry about that. And more on top of that, like I already mentioned about what you have to wear for your, okay, by the way, for your advocacy classes, you have to wear formal. So make sure, you're traveling from Malaysia, please bring your formal attires, or even you can buy there in the UK in Primark. It's quite cheap. For males, it's very easy. For females, also very easy. It's either Zara, if you're in Manchester or London, it's world, you can just go anywhere. But I bought my clothes in Primark. It was cheap. It came under £30 like that. So I bought a suit, so it's £30 like that. And this is all about the bar course. If you all have any questions, you all can unmute or you all can type. Yeah, I can answer you all because I'll be proceeding to my ins and everything. So do you have any questions?
Very detailed explanations and giving a very clear guides for the papers that students are expecting if they are coming to study for the bar. Thank you, Lisha. And even more pros than me and Maggie.
Thank you, Lisha. Thank you so much.
Nah. So I move on to the ins.
Yep.
Shall I move on to the ins?
Yep.
Okay.
Which
So,
in you chose?
okay, the ins that I chose is Middle Temple. They are very helpful. You have to, okay, you have 4 ins: Grace, Lincoln's, Middle and Inner. Why I chose Middle Temple is because most of our local people, they'll be in Middle. But I heard from my friends, the application for Lincoln's is quite fast. And also when it comes to your calling ceremony, they are very good also. They would, like example, like for me, Middle, right? Suppose I got my results in June. I can't apply July because the application date closed. But Lincoln's, you can just try to fit in. They are quite good. But I will speak more onto what I know. So I was Middle Temple. So I had to do, if you're in London, you have to fulfill 12 qualifying session requirements. But if you are out of London, such as Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool or anything, you have to do 10 QS. Okay, one advantage of Middle Temple is you can do it 4 online and 6 face-to-face. It's up to you, you want to travel or what. So what I did was, because at the end, before I had to complete my papers and everything, I had to I had COVID. I guess I had COVID or I was sick. I did what was for Middle, just don't do this, but this just I'm saying what I did. I applied for waiver. I just asked them, can I please do at least two QS via online and everything, so they would allow. So I would say Middle is quite flexible, but I would say try your best to go for the qualifying sessions. Okay, I know this is the top question. London is so expensive and the current exchange rate is very expensive. I don't want to spend on train money or etc. But I'm going to tell you this. If you go to the QS, trust me, you will not only see local people, you would mingle around and it's going to be so diverse. So some people, they might come from City University, or some people will come from Northumbria and everything. So you will have a lot of people where you can get their contact, engage with them and exchange information. You know why I'm saying this? Because I went for the qualifying session. Like I told you, I went for only 4 or 5 qualifying sessions in London. I got all my friends' contact numbers and they shared with me their past year papers. This is a very, very useful thing where, because like I told you, BPP, you have your century, you will have your MCQs. So you are from BPP. You do not, you are only like, your view, you have a narrow kind of view. Okay, this is how the litigation paper, this is how the questions is going to be. But other university students, you never know, because we cannot predict what is going to come out in an exam paper. If we can predict, everybody would be doing the bar and they would be lawyers. So they would be, your colleagues might be exchanging, knowledge, and they might be exchanging, in terms of questions of how are you going to attempt the MCQs, maybe what their lecturer gave them tips, or like what type of questions, like BSB indication. Although BPP's BSB indication is very accurate, no, I wouldn't say very accurate in terms of criminal, but civil they are accurate, okay, 90% accurate. But other students such as ICC and everything, they would have what their lecturers are going to say, because sometimes, even in BPP, you have qualified solicitors as your lecturers, where they will train your skills in drafting, and qualified barristers who would train your advocacy and also would say how is the litigation papers are going to be, because they are well-known lawyers and everything in the UK. For me, if you're in BPP Manchester, the head of law is Matt Curtis. I'm very close to him. And also he works in the St. John's chambers, St. John's or 9th Street chambers. He worked somewhere there, and he told us how to tackle the criminal paper. Personally, he was teaching. So there are a lot of opportunities, by going to the inns, by volunteering, by attending their moot competition. And more on top of that, you can also do, when I'm saying volunteering, you can learn how to do legal research. So when you already graduate and if you're planning to come back to Malaysia, it's going to be easy, especially when you're doing your chambering, because you will do more onto legal research stuffs. So it's going to be easy. You will know what is Westlaw. You will know what is LexisNexis. You will know what is Atkin Forms. You would learn a lot. But in terms of mini pupillage, yeah, that is the best thing. If you're planning to stay there, if your willpower is very strong, if you're planning to stay there, you can just go for it, because you will have opportunities to attempt for mini pupillages and everything. So yeah, that's all from me. And study hard. Choose your friends wisely. I would say when you go there, if this is your first time, don't get culture shock, but please choose your friends wisely. But I think all of you are here. I don't know how many, I can't check how many people are in this, but y'all are very lucky that y'all chose PDVL agency, because more than BPP student advice, support center, PDVL really helped me in terms of their visa. Oh, it is better. I'm going to be open. It's better than UKEC and AUG. I got my visa very fast. My clearance was very fast. I went to the immigration. They opened my passport. They checked the visa. I was very fast. Everything was very fast. And thanks, heads off to MT, because I remember throughout my breakdowns, she motivated me. Choose your agents wisely. And also Maggie, because she keeps in touch. She asked MT, how am I doing and everything. Because like some agency, they were like, okay, student already go. Don't care. We already get money. But PDVL is not like that. They would check how their students did and their percentage. We would keep in touch, and also we will know how many the rate of passing and everything. And I would say this, PDVL is doing a great job, because even my parents are very happy with it. Even my parents are very happy, because we never met this kind of agency who helps us a lot in terms of not only visa application, but motivating the students. Imagine when you're down and you can't even share it with your friends or your, parents. You're very scared that you're going to mess up one of the paper or anything like that. That point of time, MT was like a God's figure. She came to me, she told me, Lisha, just do it. It's okay. Pray, eat well, sleep well. Just go and do it. And yeah, I made it. I'm getting called to the bar in November. So yeah, thank you so much, PDVL. And also the reimbursement and rebate that you guys have given me. It's unspeakable about it, because I saved a lot of money. I saved, I think, approximately, although it's going to be smaller, 2,000 or 3,000 ringgit Malaysian money, it's still big. I can still buy an iPhone for now. So thank you, PDVL, for doing that. And thank you, BPP. So yeah, that's all from me.
Thank you, Lisha. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
your time.
Lisha.
Thank you, Maggie.
Okay, let's move on to the next session. Thank you, Lisha. You may leave the meeting room. I know that you're outside. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. If you guys have any questions, you all can contact MT or Maggie. I'm free only for now. So thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Alicia, got student ask if you mind to let us share your contact to them, because they find your sharing is very helpful.
Sure, definitely.
Okay, thank you, Alicia.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. That's all for BPP and sharing from BPP students. So I would like to invite University of Law, Miss Mala, to share about the programs, bar programs at University of Law. Mala, you here?
Hi, MT. Thank you. I'm here, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm not able to share my screen because our internet connection, I'm not sure what happened in our neighborhood, but I'm relying on my mobile data. But the most important thing, are you guys able to hear me clearly?
Can. Mala, you send me quickly now. Let me share the screen for my end.
Okay, but I think I'm able to share my screen. Let me try, yeah? This will stop others to, okay, so I'll just click. Just give me a moment. Okay, are you guys able to see me?
No.
Okay, my screen.
Nope.
Yes.
That's very strange.
Yes, we can see
No?
them.
Yes, can see now?
Oh, yeah, I can see now.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Let's begin. Okay. I am Mala Sivapragasam, and I'm the regional manager based in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So it would be easier for you guys to get in touch with me anytime. Of course, we work with MT, PDVL very, very closely, and we are here to help you guys. Okay. So let's move on. Okay, a bit of, let me brief you on our history, a quick one. ULO was established 150 years ago, and it is one of the longest established specialist providers of legal education and business training in the UK. And we have multiple locations across the UK. We have 15 different locations, but BPC is being offered at 8 different locations. We have an overall 5-star rating from QS World University Rankings. And in terms of employment, 95% of our PG students are employed within 15 months after graduation. So which is, I would say, which is a high percentage. And also the programs which we offer at the University of Law, it is more practical, real world focus to prepare students for your professional careers. Okay, that is extremely important, and it is also taught by experts, whereby all our PG tutors are qualified lawyers, professionals, and they are still in practice. Okay. Also, we have trained more practicing lawyers in the UK than anyone else. Okay. And in terms of alumni, we have over 90,000. That's a lot. Okay. Okay, yes. Coming back to alumni, okay. As you can see here, we have spread across 155 countries, connections with over 11,800 businesses and organizations. I just wanted to highlight here whether you guys are able to see my screen here, my cursor. Final box is Sadiq Khan. I'm sure some of y'all may know him. He is the current mayor of London. So he is also our alumni, okay? Move on. I did mention, am I able to remove the top bar empty? It is annoying. Or should I move it at the bottom? Just don't want to mess it up. Okay, let me move it at the bottom, yeah? So you guys are able to see it clearly. Okay, in terms of locations for BPC, we offer at 8 different locations. Okay, please remember 8 different locations are for the September intake. If you guys are interested in the January intake, the locations are 3 different locations, which are Birmingham, Leeds, and also London. Okay, let's move on. But let me emphasize, Liverpool and Newcastle campuses are at the university campuses, so which means it is being held at the university campuses. Just take note, the rest are city campus concept, standalone building. Okay, let's move on. Oh dear, not able to go. What did I just do? Oh no, just give me a moment, please. Yes. So, okay, now I'm able to move my screen. Entry requirements for the University of Law. Our requirement has been always second class upper, okay? And you may wonder, if I were to achieve second class lower, what will happen? We will not just shoo the students away. you are required to submit mitigating circumstances, and admissions will have to review it, and it is actually on case-to-case basis, and you guys will definitely get a response from admissions for 2-2 students, but generally it's a 2-1, okay? Oh no, I have to use my mouse, okay. In terms of what do you call that, teaching supports and all that, of course, the University of Law will definitely support you guys, okay? I'm going to emphasize on some key points here. All tutors have practiced as a barrister or solicitor with advocate experience and can bring their experience of practice to the classroom. I think this is extremely important. BPC course is a challenging and competitive course. So we need experienced barristers and solicitors to teach on the program, okay? Advocacy training in front of real barristers and judges at mooting competitions and mock trials in court. Small class sizes, I think this is also important, whereby it benefits, what do you call that? You would have a closer relationship between students and professors, resulting in individualized attention and feedback. And also materials are provided, okay, not to worry, whereby we provide white, black books, and of course you will get notes as well, okay? Let's move on. Okay, why ULaw for the BPC course? Okay, we have few points here, as you can see on my screen. We actually offer 50 hours of advocacy sessions, all taught by our qualified practitioners, okay? And advocacy trainings are essentials on the BPC course. So we offer up to 50 hours, okay? And we are the only bar school which requires all students to undergo a selection event. You may wonder, hey, what is selection event? It is actually an interview process. I will elaborate that later. Before we are able to offer you a place for the BPC course, okay? And of course, you will study in small class sizes along with selected students, okay, of course, and unique advocacy committee and scholarship opportunities, okay, and you are also able to participate in national or international competitions. Our career team, yes. You may wonder, because we offer BPC course at 3 different locations for the January intake. But we have a dedicated careers team. And careers team are placed in all our different locations. So not to worry, they help you to prepare for your pupillage applications. What else? You are able to get your employability skills started with them. Please seek their advice from the beginning and do not wait till the last minute, okay? And I have something here, 96% of BPC full-time UK graduates were in further studies or employment, so that is quite high in terms of percentage, okay? Let's move on. What will you study? This would be standard for all bar schools, I would say, okay? You have to complete 10 different modules, okay? It is really depending on the modules, what would be the focus and the percentage, okay? Let's move on. Okay, here you go. Okay, and the joint module as well, okay? How do I, oh, yes, okay, I'm able to do it with my mouse, okay. Okay, at the University of Law, we have the BPC, which is 9 months, and the BPC LLM, which is becoming popular among Malaysian students. And we have 3 options, which are optional modules, pro bono, experience, and dissertation. Okay. Pro bono would be you need to complete real life experience via pro bono clinics. You will advise, manage, and represent clients on a variety of cases in legal areas. But not to worry. You may wonder, oh my God, I do not have an experience. How do I do this by myself? Yes, the question is, you will be assigned to a master's supervisor, okay, who will guide you throughout the course. Okay, so I think you guys must feel little bit relief after hearing this, okay? And additional modules, I would say it's boring, okay? Whereby you take on an additional of 2 more modules, okay? And I would say it will increase your knowledge of legal practice areas, which you are interested to pursue on later in your career, okay? And dissertation, I have been noticing as well, there are more girls taking on dissertation module. I think they are more hardworking. Okay. And you get to choose and you get to choose an area of a law, and you become an expert in it. So you need to actually write on a topic. And again, you will not be left alone. A supervisor will be assigned to you to supervise you throughout as well. Okay, so let's move on. Okay. As you can see here, the assessments, this is just a guidance, but not to worry. Okay, as you can see, there are okay, when you see, let's see, what do you call that? For advocacy, there are 3 separate assessments, and then for examination in chiefs, you can see, you know, these are all you'll be assessed, will be guided throughout, so do not worry, okay? And the pass mark, as you can see, for all assessments, 60%, okay? So that is extremely important. And in terms of class time, 2 hours per class, I think that is standard across all universities, and you will be studying 2 to 3 days in a week. Okay, BPC LLM, of course, it's an additional module which you will be undertaking, and it is 4 to 5 hours per week. Okay, the selection process, which I mentioned earlier, it is also the interview process, okay, the interview session, okay, whereby we at the University of Law, before giving you an offer, we do conduct a selection event. There are 2 parts of the selection event. Of course, it is conducted virtually, okay. The first part of the event is on an advocacy. It's an advocacy exercise whereby you will be competing for the advocacy scholarship. Okay. Let me inform you that if you don't do well in part 1, please do not worry. Okay, just take it as an exercise and move on. It is a 40 minutes preparation time of a plea in mitigation. Okay, and you are required to present it for 5 minutes. Okay, and if you are successful, then you will be awarded advocacy scholarship. Okay, the second part of the question is 10 minutes. That is the most important session. and you will be interviewed by a member of a BPC tutor. Okay, there'll be a range of questions being asked. I would say no right or wrong answer, so do not worry, because I'm sure as a law students, you guys are able to go in. Okay, so please be confident. And there are questions, general questions, whereby you need to speak about yourself, your interest in law. Are you able to, they want to see your communication and your what do you call that, your justification. Okay, and just do your best. Okay, and I'm sure law students are extremely confident as well. Okay, in terms of fees, I think it's important to know as well. As I mentioned, we do have London and non-London campuses. The London campus, as you can see, the fees are a bit more expensive compared to non-London campuses. So generally, Malaysian students, they prefer non-London campuses. Okay, and this is before the international bursaries and your scholarships. Okay, and the next course start date, of course, it's the Jan intake, and we are starting on the 6th of January, which is early, I would say. Okay. Yes, scholarship opportunities, which I mentioned earlier. It is important to know that you guys, if you guys do well in your advocacy scholarships, which I mentioned earlier, during the selection event, you will be awarded between 1 to 3K pounds. Okay, international bursaries are automatic for international students. If you are thinking of pursuing the BPC, then you get an automatic of 1K. BPC LLM would be 1.5K. And on top of that, if you were to pay your deposit before the deadline, if I'm not mistaken, the deadline is 27th of October, and you get an additional of 500 pounds. In the past, Malaysian students, they actually take the opportunity to pay up their deposits up front to enjoy an additional of, because after conversion, it's a big amount of money for us. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Yes, employability service. It is important, and equip yourself with employability skills and whatnot. Okay, and our careers team, as I mentioned earlier, we have a team of people who manages the students. Okay, whereby you guys can book careers appointments and receive advice on your CVs and your experience. Okay, please also attend networking events organized by the universities. You never know, you may want to stay back as well in the UK, and it is good to meet and build up your networking. Okay, careers services, they also do application checks, receive advice regarding your application as well. So they actually do that for you. Interview workshops, they also conduct, focusing on how to answer questions effectively. Mock interviews, the closest you can get to the real thing. Yes, okay. So as I mentioned earlier to you guys, please get in touch with them at the beginning. Okay, you may think you may have time, but actually we do not have time because it's just 9 months. Okay. And that's about it. Yes. So thank you.
Thank you, Mara, for the the informations and sharing. So let me invite Jien. So I'm going to share screen. Is our students, and he's studying at University of Law. Previously, formerly a student from University of Leeds as well for the undergraduate LLB program. He graduated and moved on to study at University of Law at Leeds Center. So I would like to invite Jien. Jien, you're here?
Yes, hi. Hopefully you guys can hear and see me.
Yes, can.
Okay, hi, my name is
Jien, I would like to.
Yeah.
I will pass the sessions to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. My name is Ho Jien Min, and as said earlier, I graduated and got my law degree from University of Leeds, and I'm currently residing in Manchester because I just completed the BPC course in Manchester, ULaw. I want to preface this by saying that I did not take any other course such as the LLM at ULaw. I only took the BPC course, and thus I can only impart my experience on that front. So yeah, I started my course at ULaw. I joined the September 2023 intake, and my course ended this year, May. So it's 9 months in total. I had class, as mentioned earlier, I had classes twice a week, and one day would be for criminal, the other would be civil. And each day will be separated into 2 classes. The first one would be litigation, and the second will be a skill session. Each session will last around 2 hours. In regards to the litigation class for the day, it's not really a lecture. What essentially happens is you are given reading on the portal online on ULaw, and you and the class will then have a conversation to discuss the reading material that you are given. All right. I would like to preface by saying that please do not mistake the litigation class for a lecture class. This is not a lecture at all, not a lecture that you will be familiar with in university anyways. And instead, I highly recommend trying to complete as much of the reading material that they give you as possible, as the whole session is more of a discussion and a Q&A session with your lecturers and other students. And doing the reading really will help you in this class. In relation to the latter part of the day, which would be the skill session, it's very similar to litigation, but instead of just reading material, you are given specific tasks to do, such as completing questions, drafting certain documents, reading certain case papers, prepping for advocacy sessions and whatnot. This session will mostly depend on what's on the agenda for the day. It's always different. You could have a session that's mostly comprised of like writing and drafting, like opinion writing and like drafting sessions. Or you could have more fun sessions, in my opinion, advocacy sessions such as cross-examination, examination in chief, and conveyancing sessions. Before I move on, I'd like to say something I think is really important. There is a module, there is a subject called professional ethics in ULaw, just like every other bar BPC course. This isn't taught extensively at ULaw. They have one class where they teach you professional ethics, but the rest of it you have to study yourself. And like everything else, I do not recommend studying for professional ethics a week before your exam. Just try and read as much as you can on weekends whenever you have less work, because I think it's very important. A lot of people forget that ethics isn't taught, and they reach the end of the year before the exams and they're like, where's my classes? Like, they don't teach you professional ethics. So yeah, my course is split into 2 semesters, as I said earlier. For my intake, it was September to December and then January to May. For my first semester, I had 1 exam out of the 9. So I had a conveyancing exam at the first semester, and for the next semester, the second semester, I had to take all my other papers at the second semester. So yes, ULaw is definitely a very second semester heavy bar school, I would say. In terms of how to prepare for the bar course, I'd like to start off with advice that my lecturer personally has given me. That I think is very useful, which is to try and imagine yourself in the middle of an ocean, sort of. It sounds very intimidating, but the bottom line is that if you just keep swimming every single day, you will make it ashore. I think this analogy is very accurate in the bar school because you will genuinely be swamped with reading and work. No one's going to sugarcoat that. The amount of workload like from uni or anything is going to be significantly higher. But the most important thing is just try to do work. any amount of work, no matter how big or how small. Just do some work every day, and it doesn't matter how little it is, it will put you in a much better position, genuinely. In terms of the reading given, I will say that some of the reading workload required of you at times is genuinely unrealistic. But in my opinion, you should expect such a workload as you are taking the bar course in a sense. Some days you might be given 1 or 2 days to complete the reading, but it still genuinely isn't enough. But this is where you fall into a trap. I know some of my friends, some people in my bar course, they have the mindset that, oh, I didn't complete the reading over the weekend or whatever. And because of that, there's no point going to class. I can't participate in the discussion. Why should I go to class to begin with? Do not do this. Genuinely, the best advice I can give you is do not do this. This is where the keep swimming analogy comes in. Even if I personally fail to complete any reading prior to my class, and this happens, I'll be honest, more than I like to admit. To be fair, I have been to classes without doing any reading at all. But the most important thing is you still have to go to all your classes, because no matter what, you will learn something. The classes will sound like a different language entirely if you don't do your reading. But if you don't do your reading or do little reading, still, please go to your classes. Skipping classes will cripple your progress significantly, on top of ruining your student visa, of course. Most importantly, the amount of material you go through every single day is huge. This is a good and bad thing. The bad thing is if you skip your class, it will put you significantly more behind. But the good thing about such a huge amount of material is that even if you don't know what's happening, something will stick. So just keep going to classes, just keep swimming. Another advice I can give, which is quite general advice, is that you've probably all heard before, is try and treat the bar course like a 9 to 5 in a sense. I try to treat my bar course like a 9 to 5. Every weekday I try to study at 9 or like 10 a.m. and I'll study around 5. Sometimes it was like close to exam periods, just I go on full on 9 to 9 with taking breaks in the middle, of course. It's just that the sheer amount of material that you have to digest every week is genuinely too much to handle at times. So if you treat the course like a 9 to 5, it's much more easier to go through more material, I guess. And in order of studying, in my opinion, as mentioned earlier, you do have a lecture and skills session per day. All right. And the order to prepare for that, to me, I feel that my personal recommendation is to do the skill session first. Because if you do the skill session first, you will get to see how the material gets applied practically. And because you see how it's applied practically, you then go into the reading more in depth later. Because you know how it applies practically, it's just easier to digest, sort of. Yeah. And in relation to studying tips, I think it's just very generic. Study with your friends. It's very important to study with your friends. Exchange past year papers, as what Miss Lisha was saying earlier. The litigation papers are the toughest papers you will ever take. And I say this with a degree of confidence, as you will hear statistics, oh, the passing rate for the litigation paper is 60%. But it's very different when you actually take the paper and experience 50 to 60% of your friends failing the papers. It is genuinely very, very hard. But I'm not trying to put you off to the papers, because it is genuinely doable. Do pass your papers, and most importantly, trade pass your papers with your friends. If you set up a sort of a trading system with your friends, I have a certain year, you have a certain year, just trade as much as possible, because you cannot pass this course alone. You need your friends with you. Also take note that maybe do not do certain past year papers beyond a certain year. For example, I did not go past 2019 because beyond 2019, the law, for especially criminal law, some law will change. And if you do the papers, past year papers, and you mark yourself and certain questions that you think you got it right, but like in the older past year papers you got it wrong, you might just confuse yourself more, because the law will have changed by then already. Another very good tip for studying is please email your lecturers as much as possible. They are there to help you. I've used and abused my ULaw emails so many times whilst being a student there. Do not be afraid to email your tutor and regarding any questions you have at all. I've shamelessly emailed my lecturer on weekends, in odd hours and whatever, and they will always deal with my questions, whatever questions they may be, as soon as possible on weekdays and whatnot. They are very helpful. They will never shun you off, shoo you off. Just email them. They are there to help you. Before moving on, is there any other questions? Because I'll be moving on to the experience, but that's all my question. That's it for ULaw itself. Is there any other questions?
No, for now. You
Okay.
can move on.
Yeah. Going into the ins of court and qualifying session experience. Me personally, I'm a member at Gray's Inn, and I'll be very honest, I'm not entirely sure the differences between all the inns of court. In my head, they're all quite similar. I don't see much differences. I mainly chose Gray's Inn because there were the least amount of Asians there out of the other courts, out of the other inns, which would mean, most importantly, less competition when booking any of your qualifying sessions. But my opinion is to join whatever inn you're comfortable with, and most importantly, if you want to join a certain inn, try to apply for the inn earlier. Just make things much easier. In relation to qualifying sessions, you will have 10 qualifying. I was in Manchester, so I had 10 qualifying sessions you need to complete before you get called. And you will also have 5 topics that you have to cover in general. This means that among 10 of your qualifying sessions, you have to complete 5. You have to complete all 5 subjects. You can leave a single subject out where you don't complete any qualifying sessions in that particular subject itself. On top of this, you also have something called a PIA, which is a preparation in advance. QS. Most qualifying sessions you attend to, they are just like a lecture. You go in there, you sit. I join mostly online because I'm in Manchester and not in London, but like even in the London ones itself, a lot of them is just a lecture. You go in there and you sit and you watch. And when you're done, you just leave. And the thing is, they don't want you to just join sessions and just listen and not pay attention, sort of. So what they have is they set a certain amount of qualifying sessions where you have to actually prepare in advance, such as for me, I had to do a plea mitigation in front of 2 judges in London recently, which was really, really fun. And on top of that, there were other qualifying sessions where it's just a group discussion. And there will be a set amount. I'm not sure the amount, but I think it might be different for every inn. But they will brief you on this upon your arrival at the inn and upon your first QS. They will brief you on all of this. On top of this, as I said earlier, I'm studying in Manchester and I'm not a student in London. You should be aware that you would have to book these QS sessions much more in advance, particularly if you're in the Northern Circuit, such as me. I'm not in London. You should book your QS much earlier in advance because, for example, if you plan to do a bulk of your qualifying sessions at the end of your final exams, make sure you start looking out and booking your qualifying sessions at the start of your second semester. If you were to start looking into and booking qualifying sessions at the end of your final exam, you most probably will not get any qualifying sessions at all, because that's just how competitive it is. There's so many people taking law now, so many people in the inns. It's just you have to book your sessions earlier. And on top of that, I also recommend, especially ULaw students, please do not leave all your qualifying sessions at the second semester. As I said earlier, second semester is extremely heavy for ULaw. So what my personal recommendation is, maybe do 6 qualifying sessions at the first semester, add 4 qualifying sessions at the second semester. It's just even things out much more. Moving on to how to improve advocacy. In relation to advocacy sessions in ULaw, I think the best advice anyone could give is to practice. Practice on anyone you can. Practice on a partner, practice on your housemates, classmates, anyone. This obviously does not apply to an exam setting. I do not condone cheating, but for normal sessions, please practice as much as you can. For individuals who are very fluent in English, do not get too cocky. Do not underestimate advocacy sessions just because you have a good command of English. That's exactly what happened to me, and I paid the price for it. You can never be too good at advocacy, and remember that our standard of what a good grasp of the English language is differs greatly from the standards here in the UK. And for individuals who are less fluent in the English language, do not give up, please. I beg you, do not give up. I have had friends in my class who converse mostly in Chinese from Malaysia, and they force themselves throughout the course to speak English at every opportunity. And they also actively seek help from other students and whatnot in their class to practice advocacy. And through all that hard work, they went from getting a failing grade at the start of the course to getting a high distinction. This is extremely possible, and I believe that anyone and everyone can do this. And yeah, that's all my experience. That's all the experience and information I have to pass on for today. If you have any questions, feel free. Thank you.
Thank you, Jien. So after Jien's sharing, any ones of you have questions like to ask Jien? If no, Jien, would you mind to share your contact in case, you know, future student that would like to ask some specific questions, then you mind to exchange the contact?
Oh no, I don't mind at all. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to contact the senior and getting some guidance or some or the tips you can get from us. So we also recorded the session. So if you're interested to have a recording, we can share across with you guys as well. And thank you everyone to attend the sessions. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Jien.